The Grand Keeper of the Royal Nursery had never experienced such humiliation in her 300-year career. For the 5th time that week, she stood before the Council of Elders, her crystalline wings drooping in shame as she reported yet another escape. "The wards are intact," she insisted, her voice trembling. "The enchantments haven't been breached. The security constructs report no anomalies, yet every morning we find them. With him." The elders exchanged glances that spoke volumes. Itsum, the human janitor, had become an unprecedented problem. Humans were a recent addition to the Draconic Empire's workforce, a species discovered on a remote world, notable only for their adaptability and their strange insistence on forming emotional bonds with anything that moved. They were cheap labor, nothing more. Itsum had been hired to maintain the lower corridors of the palace, far from anything important. Yet somehow, he had become the favorite sleeping spot of the Empire's most precious treasures, the royal dragon hatchlings. Itsum didn't understand what all the fuss was about. He sat in his small maintenance closet, converted into a makeshift bedroom with Ember curled against his chest. The little dragon, barely the size of a house cat, made soft chirping sounds as she slept, her scales warm against his worn uniform. 3 other hatchlings lay scattered around him, Blaze across his lap, Cinder tucked under his arm, and Storm somehow wedged behind his neck like a scaly scarf. "You guys are gonna get me fired," he whispered, though he made no move to disturb them. Ember's eyes cracked open, brilliant amber pools that seemed far too ancient for something so small. She chirruped at him, a sound that roughly translated to safe in the empathic language of dragons. Then she burrowed deeper into his embrace and returned to sleep. The door burst open. The Grand Keeper stood there, flanked by 2 armored guards, her expression oscillating between fury and bewilderment. "How do you keep doing this?" she demanded. Itsum looked up sheepishly. "Ma'am, I swear I don't do anything. I just wake up and they're here. Impossible. The nursery is sealed with blood magic. Only those of royal lineage can pass through." "Then maybe your magic's broken," Itsum suggested helpfully. The Grand Keeper's eyes flashed dangerously. "Our magic has protected the royal line for 10,000 years. It does not break." One of the guards stepped forward to collect the hatchlings. The moment his clawed hand reached for Ember, the little dragon's eyes snapped open. She released a sound, not quite a roar, more like an indignant squeak, and a small gout of flame shot from her nostrils. The guard jerked back. "The hatchling attacked me." "She's protecting him," the Grand Keeper said slowly, as if the words tasted strange in her mouth. "But why?" The Council of Elders decided to investigate personally. They installed monitoring crystals throughout the palace, specifically tracking the hatchlings' movements. What they discovered defied everything they knew about their own species. At precisely midnight, each hatchling would wake. Their movements were synchronized, purposeful. They approached the nursery barrier, a shimmering wall of ancient magic that should have been impassable to creatures so young. The magic was designed to keep them in and intruders out, keyed to recognize only mature dragons of the royal bloodline. But the hatchlings didn't break through the barrier. They asked it to let them pass. Elder Ignis nearly dropped his viewing crystal when he realized what he was seeing. The hatchlings were communicating with the magic itself, not through words or power, but through something more fundamental: need. The ancient spells designed to protect dragon young recognized that the hatchlings needed something the nursery couldn't provide. And so the magic did what it was supposed to do. It put the hatchlings' well-being first. It let them go. They would pad through corridors, navigate staircases, and slip through doors that guards swore were locked, all to reach one destination, the janitor's closet in sub-level 3. And Itsum would wake, find them there, and simply hold them. "It makes no sense," Elder Ignis told the assembled council. "We provide optimal temperature regulation, nutrient-rich feeding schedules, age-appropriate stimulation. The nursery contains everything a hatchling could need." "Everything except one thing," said Elder Azura, the oldest among them, apparently. "What could a human offer that we cannot?" Azura's ancient eyes held something that might have been sadness. Perhaps we should ask them. They brought Itsum before the full council, still in his janitor's uniform, still covered in dragon-scale polish and corridor dust. Ember sat on his shoulder, refusing to be separated from him. "Human," Elder Azura began, her voice surprisingly gentle. "You will answer our questions truthfully. What do you do that draws these hatchlings to you? Itzum shifted uncomfortably. Nothing special, Your Grace. I hold them. Sometimes I sing, stuff my mom used to sing to me, and I tell them it's okay, that they're safe, that somebody cares about them. The elders stared at him. That's it, Elder Ignis asked. Yeah, is that wrong? Elder Azura closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they glistened. No, human. It is not wrong. It is something we have forgotten. She turned to address the council. We have optimized every aspect of hatchling care for survival and development. But we have neglected something so fundamental that we failed to recognize its absence. Affection. Simple, unconditional care given freely, not as duty, but as, what is the human word? Love, Itzum said quietly. Love, Azura repeated. Dragons are born knowing they are important. They are future rulers, warriors, scholars. But this human offers them something else. The knowledge that they are cherished simply for existing. Not for what they will become, but for what they are. Ember chirped and nuzzled against Itzum's cheek. Elder Ignis spoke carefully. So the solution is, we hire him, Azura said. Officially, as Royal Hatchling Companion. It seems the position has been vacant for several thousand years. Time we filled it. Itzum's new quarters were attached directly to the nursery. They tried to make them grand, befitting a royal appointment. But he requested they keep them simple. Just big enough for me and however many hatchlings show up, he'd said. Every night they came. And every morning the guards would find them sleeping peacefully, tangled together in a pile of scales and warmth and humanity. The Empire learned something that day. Sometimes the greatest strength isn't power or magic or ancient lineage. Sometimes it's just knowing how to hold someone and tell them they matter. And humans, it turned out, were exceptionally good at that.